we need to take the time to seize every opportunity to teach, to share, and to give thanks and show value. That's all that it really takes. Like I said before, people have come to thank me for something that I said or I did for them that I don't even remember, just because I try to make myself available in every moment possible that I can to be a good elder, to be helpful, to be useful, to be kind, because I have no idea what that's going to turn into. But also, I don't want to put that negative energy out in the world because it's just not necessary, just because it can, you know. I think that we need to seize every opportunity we can to to show love and the value of love to young people. And I take something that Alice Coltrane, John Coltrane's widow, where she said that usually when he learned something, it was obsolete the very next day, and he was giving it away to everyone else. And that's how I like to see it. As soon as I learn something and it's beautiful, I'm like, oh, every time someone comes over the house, I just learned this new thing. Check this out. And I'll show it to them if I think that they will have the capacity to get it. And, you know, a lot of times, like say with my best friend, he's a really good musician, one of the best that I've ever known, and struggles mightily. We ended up putting together a thing called the Angola Project, based off of my research at the prison, where we made a chamber music ensemble based off of the recordings that were made in the 30s, 40s, 50s, some of my stuff as well. And he made the second trip with me after he left Lauryn Hill's band. And it took me 4 years to get him to listen to the old recordings.
Do you know that telling a story is one of the most powerful ways to connect with your audience? Do you know that the human brain processes story much more easily and quickly than facts and figure? Stories are a great way to engage your audience, get them interested in your products and services, and inspire them to take action. A good story will help you create more compelling content that can be shared on social media or through other channels. And it's not just about telling a compelling story, it's also about knowing how to tell it effectively. Now, do you want to better connect with your audience? Then join us on our online training class, Storytelling for Content Creators and Digital Entrepreneurs. Come to obehilair14.com/storytelling and learn how to leverage your storytelling skill to earn more as a content creator and digital entrepreneur. Storytelling is a powerful way to connect with your audience, so let's explore it together. See you in the class.
From the 40s and 50s to see the value, because I'd say, hey, I got this really amazing music from this prison plantation. You used to listen to it. I go, what are they singing about, man? Taking showers, whatever. You always make a joke and dash on. Like, no, man, it's the real thing. And so finally he came to visit me. And so I picked him up from the airport, and we're in the car. I said, okay, man, now you can't squirm away from this. You trapped in my car. Here it is. I put the CD in, and he was like, oh man, we got to do something. It's like, that's what I've been telling you for 4 years, you knucklehead. Let's get to work. And we made 2 recordings based off of that. And it just took patience and fortitude, knowing like, you could really use this, man. Use it. And of course, also when that happens, you have to be okay with the fact that you will put this energy out there, or you'll put these assets out there for people to use, and you get burned because they don't see the value, or they're afraid to embrace the discomfort, or intellectually they don't want to try because they don't want to risk failure or laziness or whatever it may be. You have to be willing to put that out there and to not have it reciprocate. And it can't be about that. You got to just put it out there. And if they take it, excellent. And if they don't, you learn from it and you find a way to move on to the next one. But not taking it personal when I give something like that to people and they don't value it, that's something that I have always struggled with. Or if they take your niceness for weakness and then they try to exploit it, as though you can't see how raggedy they are from the start. Like, you raggedy, that's why I gave this to you, but I see potential in you for not to be raggedy. Don't come at me with no raggedy hustle, man. Take this and grow with it. Because once I give something like that to them, they will ingest it. And when they give it back to me based off of their understanding or how they express whatever this thing is, I can learn from it because they got a different take on it. And it's the same old stuff from back in the day. Like Sonny Rollins used to say, it's just scrambled eggs. Everybody scrambles them different. So I would like to see how you do it. Like, here are these components, put this together and see what you come up with, because I could learn something in the end. And that's what we need to value that experience, to not take it personal when it gets squandered, and to not judge people based off of first impressions, because sometimes people will make a bad first impression when they don't really know any better. But when you do know better, you do better. So you gotta take a few hits sometimes to get people to come around, because I see so much wasted potential, particularly with young men. And it's just a waste. And it just hurts my heart to see that sort of thing. And so I would rather go the route that I am going than pretend like I don't see the abject poverty of mind and spirit that I'm surrounded by. And I just try to ally myself with as many people as possible who think in a way and that way and be useful to them. And we help each other out, protect each other. And I see beauty and value in all of them, in everyone, until they show me otherwise. And then I can just back off of that and then go on to the next one. But I will give until it hurts. Unfortunately, it's bitten me before, but I'm still willing to get up and do it again after some convalescence, because I see the value in it. And if people hadn't done that for me when I was younger, I don't know where I'd be now, where my brothers would be now.
All right, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the work that you are doing. Now, how can people reach out to you, those who want to maybe work with you, collaborate with you? Why not? Because this world, no one does it alone. We are a community. We are a people. We are living together.
Okay, well, I have a LinkedIn page. Other than that, I'm not on social media. Doing the kind of work that I've done and just dealing with that's just one thing where I can, because the anonymity of it, people can just be cruel and mean, and they would just rather go that route. So I just stay away from those sorts of things and just continue to do my work. But they can find me on LinkedIn, and that would be the best way, because that's just me up there, and then we can directly. But any of the information I have, my writings, my recordings, points of view, I'm glad to help. Anyone can contact me. This kind of information, I don't expect to get paid for it. I will give it away to my own detriment, because I do, money is necessary to live. But at the same time, what I have, who would I be if I were to study the history of the commodification of Black musical experiences and then attach a dollar value to it myself? You know what I mean? Like, I did my work at a slave plantation. Why would I charge money for that sort of thing? Like, no, you can have it. Let's stop this. Let's get rid of this. So they can find me on LinkedIn, and I'm here to help, and I would very much love to do so. So I appreciate anybody who reaches out and wants to work with me, or wants to read my writings, or wants to give me some tips, some information that I don't have that can make me better as a person.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Now, what would be your final thoughts in the conversation that we have had today? That's been about value. I want you to conclude it in your own way.
We have to stop giving it up to people who don't deserve to have it. They either accept us as we are, our beauty and ugly, or they don't get it at all. And like, say, with my book research, this is so groundbreaking, with so many new things to history with regard to the first Black people in the United States who were born after the Civil War and were working as artists, that I've kept it secret. Like, it's very few people have seen it, because I know what the tendency is that they will want it destroyed or dumbed down for consumption, and I won't give them the opportunity to do that. And so what we need to do is to value our experiences and value our cultural products and value our children enough to not give them away to these people. And if we can do that in a large enough mass, we can sort of force the issue. It's either we find a way to put it underground and wait for those people who think that way to die off, because they are disappearing, because we see the acts of desperation that they're performing to hold on to something that they have but did not earn. We either have to wait for them to die off and work diligently to convince their children, ma'am, if I give up my seat, that child will not know an injustice is being done. If we don't wait for them to go educate their children to act accordingly, and value our children enough to continue the struggle, it's just not going to happen. But we need to keep these things separate until that happens. And we need to stop just, as soon as we figure out something that's sellable, we have to stop running to white people to give it away. And that's the most difficult thing to do, particularly because so many Black people are in a desperate situation or have come out of a desperate situation and cannot lose that crabs in a barrel mentality. We all struggle with it. And it's so much easier to make short-term gains in that regard, but we have to value ourselves enough to take those hits to do the right thing going forward. Because I see so many Black people who were down for the struggle, but then they get a little money, they get a little prestige. I mean, look how crazy James Brown was at the end. And Michael Jackson, like the things that these people were doing, or how Prince, like, he kept everything hidden for a very good reason. And now that he's dead, his siblings and management are fighting over him like his corpse, like he's some kind of like he's the last pork chop on the plate or something. And they just split his estate up into two. And you see how now they got Prince Fashion coming out. They're releasing all these recordings that he had hidden that he didn't want released, because this is what happens. If you ally yourselves with people who don't think holistically and are looking for dollar signs, we need to get rid of that mentality and to stop basing our cultural value systems based off of how much you can sell whatever it is that you're doing to white people, and start valuing it for what it is. Oh, my grandchildren would love this. I'd rather buy some acreage where we can grow our own food than buy an Escalade with spinning rims. You know what I mean? And it's up to us. We can do it. Our capacity is there. We have done it in the past. There are beautiful examples of us out there doing it. What we need to do is make ourselves available to those people, take those skills, grow them, and then give them away. And continue to do that until we match our talk with our walk. And that's important to me, but it's going to take time. But just like the ancestors, like George Walker and all of them, like my grandparents, they were looking to a brighter day. They did so much work because they wanted life to be better for me. And I do what I do so that my life will be better for people going down the road, even though I don't even have any children. I want Black people to understand how beautiful we really are